one night I come home from work as a security guard, and it's like maybe 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get some Wendy's to go eat, and I'm walking outside, and I sit on this hill by a ditch, and I'm eating my food, and I look up over the city, and just barely I see this weird looking helicopter. Like, it's, imagine a helicopter but without a tail rotor, and there was no lights on it,
Hmm.
and no rotor on top at all, right? So it's like floating across the city.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm seeing this is because it's being illuminated from underneath by the city lights.
Okay. You're seeing the lights from the city reflect on the bottom of this craft.
Not necessarily reflect, just like it's illuminating it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And now, if you can kind of, do you know what's that one game? N7.
I don't.
What is it?
Last game I played was Mario 64.
You say
No.
N7, are you talking
it's
about biomass or why does that sound familiar?
It's a space game, and I remember there's an N7 in it.
Yeah, no, that's why the hell can't I think of the name right now? It's not biomass. Is it biomass? I think biomass is the other one.
Something like that. I can't
there's
remember.
Andromeda. I remember what the hell it was.
There's something in it that looks like what you saw.
No. It just kind of like,
Mass
if you can
Effect.
imagine
Mass
that kind of
Effect.
style, that
Yeah.
N7. It's because I remember like a red stripe going around the bottom of it.
Yeah,
And
it's
for
Mass
some reason I
Effect.
just like can see it in that game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Mass Effect. Thank you.
There you
Chad.
go. Yeah, Mass Effect.
Nice. Good call.
I couldn't get it out of my mouth. Thank you.
So and you know, at this moment I wasn't like on anything. I normally smoke weed, but I stepped outside, and I wasn't doing anything at that. No drinking, nothing like that. And you know, normally I'm in my right mind. I would say I don't really have any, at least medically diagnosed, you know, psychosis or anything like that. So what I believe I saw there was very, very interesting. You know, I kind of stared at it, and it was a very surreal, like almost, you know, people say, well, it could look back at you. You know what I mean? So I wanted to kind of avoid getting too invested in it. So
Did it make a sound?
no sounds at all. Like,
Okay.
and it was close enough to hear. Normally you hear helicopters pretty far within the city. So,
Right.
and because it's like a valley, so you could hear a lot of sounds.
Right.
So I really don't know what it was. I would think military, most like some sort of unknown tech that we have.
For
That's
sure.
what I guess, because it looks so familiar
Right.
but foreign at the same time.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, we've discussed these stories where just recently the Pentagon was caught lying about they were creating extraterrestrial stories, but just as a cover for Lockheed Martin Raytheon technology. So people were seeing things, thinking it was like extraterrestrial, and the Pentagon kind of like, yeah, that's what it was, you know, more or less, you know, seeding that into the internet when it was really, you know, some crazy thing that we're funding with our tax dollars.
Right, of course, yeah. So that was, you know, immediately one of the things that I was thinking, because again, it did look so familiar.
How long
But
did it,
yeah, I've just
it-
wanted to put it out there because I feel like there's not a lot of people who've also shared this experience or seen something like this in general. You know,
how did it disappear? Did you watch that? Did it move fast?
well, it was just kind of hovering, like hovering but moving forward slowly.
Okay.
It was like a weird, almost like a bag in the wind, if you will, but obviously stable and moving in one straight direction.
And it just kept going in that direction, and you watched.
Right, and it was going south to north.
Interesting. Are you around, without doxing yourself, I guess, any military or Air Force bases?
Yeah, I guess I am. Yeah.
Because a lot of those weird sightings do happen around those places for some reason. And then the argument is, well, it's extraterrestrials who are coming to observe the military, or it's the military doing a joyride on the military and testing it out. The latter is the one I typically feel is the one that's happening the most, but you never know.
Yeah. Honestly, the feeling I had was more of a surveillance kind of vibe. I couldn't tell you exactly why. It's just what I felt at the moment.
Interesting. Yep. I feel like that's what a lot of it is. Stealth and surveillance. For us, for everyone, that's what they've been working for, mass surveillance. I mean, and with the technology, 40s and 50s. I mean, goes back a little before that, but you look into stuff they were doing with Project Echelon. It's wild. And that was in the 60s when they really built those things. They didn't fly around, but they're antennas that a lot of them are hidden underneath these things called radomes, which they look like giant golf balls. And they can just point those antennas anywhere and pick up anyone's conversation anywhere. Some interesting old documentaries on YouTube about that for anyone interested in terms of the surveillance stuff. But I imagine, because what you're saying is that type of technology will eventually go into the air. Obviously, we know they built planes to do that very thing. But, I can't help but think of the drones of last December, the Jersey drones, whatever those were. Those types of things will most likely, I'll say inevitably, become the way they surveil a lot of us.
Oh yeah, of course. And I mean that raid dome technology, I think they use that in football now, right?
Oh, I don't know. Interesting. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they used it maybe back then. Now I'm pretty sure they use on helmet mics, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's wild. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the story, and I appreciate you calling in.
Of course. I have another one, just a real quick one.
Yeah, go
it was
for it.
If you guys don't mind.
Totally.
This one, it was when I was young, and I don't know exactly why the circumstance happens. I'm pretty sure it was because I was scared. I was very scared of the dark when I was a kid, and maybe for good reason. At this moment, I went to sleep in what was our old baby room, so it's a lot smaller, and for some reason my mom wanted me to sleep on the outside of the bed because I didn't want to sleep on the outside of the bed. So I was sleeping on the outside of the bed, and this is facing into the living room, and you could see the TV and out to we had a fireplace there, so the fireplace was on a not a paralleling, the other one, a 90-degree wall to the TV. So the TV I'd be looking almost directly at the TV, and then I could see the fireplace to the right.
Okay.
And as I'm kind of falling asleep, or I don't really necessarily know whether I was falling asleep or if it was, because I was still scared. I was very scared that night. And mind you, my sister had gone over to her friends to spend the night. And as I kind of open my eyes for a second, I just see what looks like a hand move out. And this is a gap behind the TV, like a tiny gap behind the TV. And I see a hand touch the wall, and then a face move forward into the gap with two red eyes. And that, and I closed my eyes and went to bed. That's what I remember.
And that was it.
Yep.
Was it like a shadow, or did it appear more physical?
Well, I feel like the red eyes would make it more physical than it was very solid, but it was a very dark figure, and it was night. I feel like anybody leaning on that wall would look like a pretty dark figure anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I know Shane's next question. Was it wearing a hat?
No hat. Okay. No hat. It was a woman. I could see the hair.
Ooh.
It was not me.
Even
All
worse
right.
if it was a woman.
I've been
okay.
exonerated once again.
Yeah, because people see Hat Man a lot, and it does seem those Hat Man stories tend to happen to children, especially when the child has gone through some sort of trauma. Seems to be the theme here with those types of stories, but yours is a little different. Although you are telling us you were scared of the dark, but yeah, I always the shadow entity stuff. I don't know if that's exactly what you saw, but that's it's bizarre. Did you ever see anything like that again?
Never again. I did have a couple weird experiences in that room, like the door would open by itself every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing else too crazy like that.
Well, thankfully it didn't get you.
Exactly right.
People, man. I mean, like, look, I still listen to a lot of old Art Bell, Coast to Coast shows,
Oh, yeah,
and
love the show.
he was so good. The thing that scared him the most, he said quite a bit, were the Hat Man stories, the shadow entity stuff, and that guy heard a lot of stories. So I always think of Art Bell, and shout out to Art Bell. Obviously, a big inspiration of this show. But hey, man, thanks for calling. Appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah. You guys have a good night.
You
Thank
too.
you.